In the heartland of Russia, Lewis Hamilton starts on pole position as he goes after matching the record set by Michael Schumacher of 91 career wins. At the end of today, we could match that incredible tally. Lewis Hamilton, though, was under investigation by the stewards after cutting across turn 2 yesterday in qualifying 1. He's been cleared by the stewards. He comes here with a massive advantage in the Drivers' Championship. Let's take a look at the calendar, the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship coming into this round. It's the 10th round of the Formula 1 World Championship, and for the first time we head to Eurasia. Welcome to the 2020 Russian Grand Prix at Sochi. After 9 races have been completed, it's Lewis Hamilton who across the board has had domination. Bottas, Verstappen and Gasly, the only other drivers to win races this year. Hamilton is walking away with it. Moving further on, we have a 2-week break after Russia before we head over to the Eiffel Grand Prix, before Portugal and Emilia-Romagna over the 2-day event. Turkey, a double-header in Bahrain on a different circuit, of course, for Shakir, and on the 13th of December, the season will end in Abu Dhabi. In the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton leads the way, 190 points to him. He's 55 points clear of Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen on 110 hasn't scored points for 2 races now. He has really got to get up here in Russia. Lando Norris is ahead of that mini battle with Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll, Danny Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly in the battle over 4th place. In the second page, watch out, Carlos Sainz is ahead. Only just though, Esteban Ocon joining the party. Vettel, 17 points still after 9 races, but still with no points on the board. Latifi, Russell and Grosjean. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads the way on a 152-point advantage to Red Bull. And then Mercedes, well, they're going to be Constructors' Champions in around about 3 races' time. McLaren, Racing Point, Renault, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, all in a battle for 3rd place. And then, of course, we have 1 point for Haas and no points for Williams at the moment. The big day is here. Lewis Hamilton going for his 91st career victory. He starts on pole. This is your Sunday race preview for the Russian Grand Prix. Hello everybody, welcome to the Russian Grand Prix and your Sunday race preview for this Grand Prix. We're not live, but it is certainly going to be interesting. Can Lewis Hamilton clinch his 91st career victory? Starts on pole position for the 96th time as well. Logic dictates he will succeed. But he starts on the soft compound tyre after a mistake in qualifying. Before we get on to the report, let's take a look around this Sochi Autodrome circuit in the AlphaTauri of Danny Kvyat. Let's take a look around the Sochi Autodrome in Russia. 3.633 miles, 18 turns, 2 DRS zones, and around the Olympic Village of the 2014 Winter Olympic Series. It's a demanding track. Let's take a look on board. On board with the Toro Rosso then of Danny Kvyat, down the hill towards turn number 1. It's barely a corner, flat out 8th gear, open up the DRS as you hurtle downhill to the braking zone for the first time. It's turn 2, heavy on the brakes, snap the DRS shut, turning down towards the left, keep the car in as you full power round turn 3, full throttle 7th gear, 8th gear mid corner, keep the car drifting in mid apex, fling it towards the right hand side for turn 4, get the power on, exit the corner, don't go too wide, into turn 5 now, hard on the brakes as you come past the first sector time. Now, 6 and 7, it's a double right-hander corner, but it sneaks up on you. Turn 6, you barely notice. Turn 7, heavy on the brakes, throw the car in 4th gear as you come in towards where the swimming gala was, the ice skate rink now, as it fluctuates between summer and winter. It was the ice skate rink, and now it's the swimming pool in the summertime. Down now towards turn 10, this is where the first DRS zone on the track is. Open it up and you get the square exit, downhill now. Turn 11 and 12 is a little bit of a kick. The next heavy braking zone as you pass the second sector time point comes at turn 13. 8th gear, flat out, all the way down, 3rd gear corner, flick the car in, is a mini bump in the exit. Be careful not to spin off the track. Get the car hooked up through 15 now. Heavy on the brakes. Third gear corner. Right and left, right again. 316, 17 and 18. Two rights to end the track. Two rights make a wrong. Currently here, flat out. Last corner, hold in fourth gear, drop down to third, power into the exit. The line is just there at the exit. That is the lap of the Sochi Autodrome track here in Russia. Right, let's get into qualifying then. Here's what happened in the report. Let's start off then, as ever, with the first part of qualifying for the 2020 Russian Grand Prix. And it certainly was eventful. Bottas on top, Russell, though, stars for Williams. And Raikkonen starts 20th on the grid as well. And his 322nd Grand Prix start, it all went wrong out on the track. Bottas, though, 132, fastest of all overall. But it was a bit too close further back as well. Pierre Gasly, Romain Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, those three drivers as well had a very poor first part of qualifying. They had to deliver going in to the next session. Gasly would do so, but Grosjean, as Magnussen, 16th and 18th, eliminated overall. The track ramped up though. Danny Kvyat pulled a super lap time, went third fastest, 8 tenths off of Bottas' leading time. Ocon and Verstappen 4th and 5th, riding them out. George Russell went into 13th place for Williams, ahead of the two Ferraris. Leclerc 14th, Vettel 15th. They just got through to the second part of qualifying. Knocked out though was Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Latifi and Raikkonen. The reason Raikkonen was out on his quick lap, he spun on his last run and couldn't get a good lap in. On to the second part of qualifying then. Ricciardo surprisingly went fastest overall. That's only because of the chaos that ensued. The rain started to come ever so lightly, and then we all had cars heading out of the track to try and get their fastest time. Lewis Hamilton went fastest, then had his lap time deleted for going off the track at turn 2, and in the last corner as well. He then went out on another set of medium compound tyres, and when he got to the last corner, the red flag was brought out. He couldn't set a lap time. After using both his sets of mediums that he should have had for the race, the red flag was brought out. Sebastian Vettel oversteer into turn 4, and then into the wall very, very hard. Nearly collected his teammate Charles Leclerc. The red flag was brought out for about 10 minutes, and by the end of it, all the cars went out on the track. Hamilton crossing the line with 1.2 seconds to go in order to start a lap time. He ended up 4th in the session. Eliminated in that very, very hectic, though, qualifying 2 was Charles Leclerc starting 11th. Then we get Danny Kvyat, Lance Stroll, George Russell, and Sebastian Vettel at best starts 15th. Into the top 10 shootout then for qualifying 3. Hamilton, 96th career pole position, a bounce back from what happened in the second part of qualifying. But it was Bottas beaten again to second place by 7 tenths of a second, nearly 8 tenths, 0.793. It was unbelievable. Verstappen P3 ahead, just small gap to Danny Ricciardo as well. Hamilton, a new track record to his name as well. And Bottas, he has to try and attack if he wants anything for this year's World Championship. Very scrappy Q3 as well from Verstappen. He saw him just get ahead to P3, but it was very, very close. Credit to Verstappen as well on his last run. Went P2. He starts on the front row of the grid. It's going to be absolutely fantastic here for the Grand Prix. And of course, let's take a look at the grid now back in the studio. And here's how they line up then on the grid for the 2020 Russian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton on pole position. Alongside him on the first row of the grid is Max Verstappen. Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez have row 2. Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz row 3. Row 4, Esteban Ocon and Lando Norris. And row 5, Pierre Gasly alongside Charles Leclerc. Then drop down, you see Danny Kvyat and Lance Stroll, George Russell, and then we get Alexander Albon having a 5-place grid penalty for a new gearbox in this session. Drop further down the order, you will then see Sebastian Vettel, Romain Grosjean, and then we get Antonio Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, and then we get Kimi Raikkonen with Nicholas Latifi starting in the back, also with a 5-place grid penalty for a change of gearbox. So, it looks to be a two-stop strategy, mainly because Lewis Hamilton starts the race on the soft compound tyres we showed you. It's going to be interesting to see, as he is one of the only ones to start on the softs in the top 10, that have to take a different advantage. Verstappen and Bottas starting on the medium compound tyre. They will have the advantage later on in the race. It's going to be an extremely interesting Grand Prix. Join us at 8 o'clock tonight for the race review, and of course on Wednesday for the Grand Review podcast. My prediction? Hard to deny that Lewis Hamilton, by the end of the day, will match the record of Michael Schumacher with 91 career victories. See you later.